Hi, my name is Leslie Grill. I work with the Alabama Cooperative Extension System Water Resources Program. Today I'm here with Dave Klein as part of our Career Exploration Series, looking into the world of aquaculture, fisheries, and natural resources. Dave, thanks for joining us today.
You're welcome. It's nice to be here.
And so tell us a little bit about what you do. What is your job title?
Well, my job title is Extension Aquaculturist, which means I work as the outreach person for the university in terms of taking information generated by the researchers here at Auburn out to the farmers, and in turn coming back with the needs of the farmers and letting the researchers know what they need to be working on.
Sounds like an important job. And so how did this type of work interest you, and how did you get started?
Well, originally I thought I wanted to get into aquaculture as a business. So when I got out my little calculator, I actually got hooked up with some people when I was in school in New Hampshire working on oysters, and I realized that one oyster would spawn 1,000,000 babies.
Wow.
And I got out my little calculator, they were selling them for 50 cents a piece, and I said, even if I only get a small number of those to survive, that could generate a lot of money. So what I ended up doing is coming to school, looking for the best schools in the country, and came down to Auburn, and with the idea of going to school to learn how to be a farm manager. And after doing that, I went to manage a fish farm for several years, where we raised catfish and largemouth bass in Missouri, which is sort of the northern frontier of aquaculture. Oh. And after living in the country for a while, I realized that that was not my thing. And when I had the opportunity to come back to the university, I took it so that I could share the information that I had learned with people that might be in the same boat.
Great. So what part of that job do you find most satisfying?
It's really the ability to help people. That's what I try to do, and helping them meet their needs either by answering their questions, saving them money, which is a big one. We tell people we spend a lot of time talking people out of going into aquaculture if it's just not the right fit for them. And the other is helping teachers use aquaculture as a tool to teach math and science, because there's so many facets to aquaculture.
Yes.
There's math, chemistry, biology, physics, plumbing, carpentry, all of the business aspects that go into it as well. The finance, the business planning, marketing, processing, food safety. There's just any number of things that you can teach using aquaculture as a basis.
Well, that does sound pretty rewarding. I'm interested, though. There has to be some challenges. What are the most challenging parts of your job?
The frustrating parts of our job is at this time, the U.S. government is not actively supporting aquaculture. So it's a teaching tool, it works very well because it gets the kids excited. It's easy to bring fish into the classroom. It's much easier in an agriculture setting to bring in fish into a classroom than it is cows and pigs. But in terms of aquaculture development in the United States, we are running much slower than other international counterparts. So there's a lot of international opportunities for aquaculture, but somewhat limited in the United States in terms of direct production. But there's all kinds of other things that you can do outside of production that have to do with water and natural resources and conservation, any number of other fields that you can use the same information that you learn to do other things.
Right. So what if I wanted to, what if I was interested in your type of position? What type of skills do you need for your job?
Well, in terms of being an aquaculture specialist, certainly you need to have aquaculture background. That really helps. So the chemistry, biology, physics, those sorts of things. But the biggest thing you need to have is the ability to talk to people and have communication skills, whether those be written skills so that you can write publications that people can understand, or just the ability to give presentations so you can share the information, or do things like this.
From your perspective, how is the employment outlook for this position?
Well, aquaculture is going to continue to grow. Right now, there are about 7 billion people in the world, and by 2050, they expect there'll be close to 10 billion. So that means, and most of the arable land is already being fully utilized, so we're not going to get a lot more food from the land. So really the only opportunity left is the ocean and water. So we're really expecting aquaculture to continue to grow. It's been the fastest growing segment of aquaculture for the last 15 years, growing at 8 to 10% a year. But in terms of extension seems to be shrinking, but there'll always be a need for people to communicate the information that's being generated at the universities and taking that to the people. So I would say that it's good. There's a lot of people that are in my position that are approaching retirement age. So there will be some opportunities for people coming into the field, especially those that have information and skills, things like social media, being able to utilize current technology to reach other people.
Absolutely. I think that's probably important in most fields these days. So for a person in your position, what are the educational requirements?
Well, I started with a BS in science and then got a master's degree in aquaculture and just recently finished a PhD, which you don't necessarily need for this position, but probably going to need a master's degree to get into a specialist position. You can be a county agent, which is sort of a generalist position, but to become a specialist, it's almost required that you have a master's degree.
So if I'm a high school student just graduating this year, going into college, and I'm interested in taking some courses related to aquaculture and fisheries, what courses might I take?
Well, certainly things like limnology would really help, which is the study of water and lakes. Water chemistry is going to be a huge, regardless of what aspect of aquaculture you go into, and it can be used in any number of other fields. And then things like biology, but it's also helpful to develop those soft skills like communication skills, public speaking, English, writing, those sorts of things.
So tell me, what are the salary ranges for this type of job?
Yeah, that seems to be one that everybody is interested in. Of course, everybody wants to know if you can make a living doing this. Starting out from a master's degree, you're probably looking at $35,000 to $40,000 per year. After you've been in the job a while, or after you get a PhD, you can reach up to 60 to 80 to, even if you're in it for a long time, you might even get up to $100,000 a year.
So do you have any more advice for anyone that's interested in your type of position?
Take advantage of every experience that you that you can get your hands on, whether that means doing internships, working, if you have any aquarium or biology program at your school, become a technician so that you learn how to take care of the fish. Certainly any international opportunities that you can get, opportunities to see other cultures and see how aquaculture is being performed in other places around the world, and really just get out and talk to people.
Okay, it sounds like some good advice. And lastly, if you had to do it all over again, would you choose this path again?
Yeah, I absolutely would. In fact, just recently I did some professional development where we took a personality study and found that this is what I need to be doing.
Okay.
It's an ideal fit for my personality.
Perfect.
Where I get to be creative, do some writing, help other people, and just build those relationships that can make a difference. Well, so I would definitely do it again.
Well, that's great. Dave Klein, Extension Aquaculturist, thanks so much for talking with us today.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure.